Hi everyone, meteorologist Ed Valley here, taking a look at South America, and we're starting here with the last 72 hours of precipitation, and there's a big focus on Argentina because up until this past weekend, it was really the only dry spot left across South America, and even they got anywhere from, in some cases, as little as a quarter of an inch in southwestern Buenos Aires into La Pampa. But if you go east, a lot of Buenos Aires and a lot of Cordoba, Entre Rios, Corrientes all saw between about a half an inch and as much as 2 inches of rainfall, a little bit more than expected in some spots. And you can see here, looking at both the production area, shown here on the left, you can see a lot of that heavier production occurs in central and southern Cordoba. Southern Entre Rios and northern Buenos Aires, right? And if you kind of compare that, right, this was where the heaviest rainfall occurred, right? It fell right in here. So good rain where it was needed, no doubt about it. And if we look here at Brazil, the last 3 days have been just as good to them. In some cases, even more. Look at this. 3 to as much as 7 inches of rain fell in parts of Paraná here the last 72 hours, into parts of Mato Grosso do Sul. That's where the biggest numbers were. Western Santa Catarina, northern Rio Grande do Sul. So really good rainfall there. And if you look at production in that part of the world, obviously a lot in Paraná, down into western Santa Catarina and northern Rio Grande do Sul, right? So we look at this, and once again, we see a lot of that area got hit very hard. Now, moving northward, central Brazil continues to get hit with rainfall, not too uncommon in these types of regimes. The rainfall to the south is what is the bigger wild card, and that continues to perform here, right? So looking here at the accumulated rainfall, you can see start of the season, September 5th, and it goes on here. Normal is black, and then the yellow line is what happened last year. We're already pacing with normal. We're above last year. Paraná, same deal. Same exact deal. And then looking finally at Argentina, we're actually pacing above normal rainfall to start the season. So can't complain if you look at the entire region. And moving forward, the one thing to note here is we are going to be dry over the next 5 days in a lot of spots here. Pretty much completely dry. Paraná southward into Argentina. That's coincidentally who got all that rain this weekend. However, look at northern Mato Grosso do Sul, northeastern Paraná into central Brazil here. That's where the rainfall will continue, 1/2 to 2 inches here this week alone. And as we press into the week ahead, you notice all those scattered rains up in central Brazil, but into the weekend, we're going to see another burst of rainfall in parts of Argentina and parts of southern Brazil here. Not a washout, but enough to certainly warrant attention. And then if you continue into early next week, multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms. And if you look at totals from now through then, you notice favorable enough here in Argentina. Driest spots likely going to be Paraná down into parts of Santa Catarina and Rio Grande do Sul. That's the area of concern, but is it a concern? I don't think so right now with all that rain we have seen thus far. The other thing we need to be aware of here is how warm this pattern looks over the next 10 days. Very, very warm conditions in Argentina here. What does that mean? Well, here's a look at the day-to-day temps. You can see here a lot of, again, keeping in mind, production is a lot of this region here. So a lot of upper 90s to near 100 in some spots. You get down into Buenos Aires, it's a little bit cooler, closer to the water. And then you move on to the following days here. You can see a lot of heat here. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. By the weekend, we're going to start seeing improvements here with only some heat remaining. And if you look at just Cordoba Airport, for example, you can see the heat here this week through about Saturday, then it kind of recedes a little bit, so the concern goes down. So it's a short-term risk, and it certainly doesn't look to continue all that long here with cooler temperatures. You can see the trend here moving forward. So real quick, the last thing I wanted to show you for today was the 8 to 15 day. European, GFS, Canadian. Canadian has a wet bias, but look at the GFS. It's impressively wet in a lot of places here. And I tell you what, that is something that should be noted because, again, we don't see this type of moisture this widespread really all that often. So let me real quick pull up the latest European. There it goes. You can see there is still some dry risk here in southern Brazil. That's where the focus is going to be. But again, coupled with the rain we've seen and with these temperatures, I mean, it's still pretty darn cool in most of central Brazil, and we got cooler risk coming back into Argentina. But southern Brazil is just going to be the talking point here moving forward. But even here, I think the risk for now is held in check. So that's what we got for you today. Have a great week, and we'll be back here soon with another video.